Hello and welcome to Stone Avoid. This is Patrick, and as always with me, Don.
Hey.
And then Replacement Jay. We have Replacement Jay today.
Yeah. I'm like a replacement. It's just a member of our team.
Well, that's true.
I'm Cole O'Brien, and my first name is actually Robert, but that'll be important later.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
I know you guys went to the tournament over the weekend.
We did.
How'd you do?
I got 36th place, and I played Hong Long. And Hong Long did very well at this tournament for people who know. I think at least number one and first and second place were Hong Long decks.
I think so.
So this was definitely a deck people were playing. I came to find out there were some people surprised to see Hong Long still being played because without the green magic stones that produced Other Will.
Without Gretel.
Yeah, and without Gretel. A lot of people didn't think it was a viable strategy, but the two first top deck lists didn't even run Mana Dorks in their main. One of the guys I know had it in their side, Mana Dorks, but neither one of them had Mana Dorks in the main.
So how did they get up to Huang Long?
It was just by tapping stones and controlling the field, and then also Blessing of Yggdrasil.
Blessing of Yggdrasil.
That was their only form of ramp.
So Blessing of Yggdrasil into Ruler's Memoria.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And let's just control Huang Long.
I mean, I played my Mana Dorks, and I played the deck well. Like, I think I did a good job. But I need to tell you guys something, just in case you guys ever get in the same position as me. In my last round, you have to finish the last round, but it's still timed. So I won the first game, even though I was on the draw against an aggro deck against Necrolance. Mm-hmm. I still beat them when I was on the draw, and then we went to game 2. I was definitely, I had a point of winning. Like, my board was definitely way more developed than his was. But he had more life than me. And time was called, turns were taken. And I didn't realize this, but at the end of those 3 turns, 0, 1, 2, 3, I had less life than him, so he won that game. So he won game 2. And we had the judges come over, and apparently it was legit. So I was very salty about this, because that meant game 3... After the first 3 turns, 0, 1, 2, 3 again, whoever had more life won. So I was playing Hong Long deck, where my only one drops are my only one drops are Wall of Winds and elves.
Yeah.
And I don't have very many of them to begin with. I am going first. I guess there's some advantage in that, but still, I'm going against Necrolance, which almost everything has swiftness in that deck. So I ended up losing. I honestly think I deserved to be in the teens. I don't think I deserved to be top 8, but I think I deserved to be close to it. Like, I thought I played very well. I thought I played very smart. My record was 4 wins, 2 ties, and 2 losses. My other loss was because of time 2. The guy won the first game, and I was winning the second game, but it got called. But it felt like a much more respectable loss than the loss that I got at the very end. So it was a very downery
That just
time.
sounds so weird. It sounds like it favors aggro matches way too much. Like, if
For
you have
the
for sure.
if you have Thunder, like, you win. Like, there's nothing really that you can do against it.
Yeah,
Really
I totally tilted when I found that information out. I was just, oh my god, this is terrible in my head anyways. But I had the sternest face in the world staring at the guy. So yeah, but how did you enjoy your first tournament?
Well, it was very fun. I got 8th, so that was pretty awesome. So
you
I
just
got
dropped
top
the
8.
8th bomb.
So since I did not expect to do nearly that well at a tournament ever, but I played Valentina 2.0 for that tournament. I was one of, I think, 2 people who did. I'm not sure anyone else did, but both of us actually managed top 8. Yeah, both me and Alex.
That we know of. There might have been some other scrubs around.
I see.
Yeah.
And how did you enjoy the deck? Like,
So
Did you even like the deck going in, or were you just like, I know this deck is strong?
I play Valentina because I enjoy playing it, partially. I didn't actually think it was a really, really strong deck. I thought it was good, but not really top tier.
Yeah. Like, a lot of us, I think, were almost kind of discouraging you from playing it because they're like, come on, Cole, there's so many ways to beat Valentina, and everyone boards them or has a main board.
You can board in Blazer, you can have a few 4 barriers, you can have your Death Scythes. That's the main things, I guess.
How'd you work around them?
So, I ran 2 Blessed Holy Wolves main deck, and I had another 2 in the board for the barriers, because barriers are the biggest barrier to Valentina.
Nice one.
Sorry. And so I found if I could actually survive a single barrier play with people, because I played a bunch of ramp. I played 7 mana elves and 4 Blessing of Yggdrasils. So that's like, what, a third of my deck devoted to mana ramping.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, having an extra mana or 2 essentially cancels out the barrier. Not completely, but it makes it less painful. However, if anyone ever got more than 1 barrier against me, I just straight up lost.
If you did have your wolves.
If I didn't have my wolves.
Yeah.
Now, people can only play up to 4 barriers, and I have 4 wolves, so the chance of that happening isn't super high.
And you kind of have a pseudo 5th wolf, right?
I
remember.
Yeah.
Remember you talking about that.
So I played one of each of the 4 Sacred Beasts, because Priscia's God's Art is... I mean, it was my most used God's Art. And it wins the game for you most of the time if you can ever resolve it.
It's just like Honglong.
It's like playing a Honglong, except you have a Valentina instead of a Honglong. And similar price associated with it too in terms of mana cost, but you can pay it over 2 turns, which is kind of nice. So with that, I could bounce my Sacred Holy Wolf to my hand, or Blessed Holy Wolf, and whenever I had a Blessed Holy Wolf in play, I always bounced it to my hand unless I was like dying to Necrolance or something like that. Which I very nearly did in both of the matchups I played against Necrolance. I know in one game I won it at, I think, 2 life at the end, so that was pretty scary.
Game 3?
No, that was our first game. But he won the second one, so I mean, if I'd lost it, it would have been pretty bad.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he probably could have gotten that extra 2 life if he'd maybe filtered 1 time less or something like that. But, I mean, it's really hard to play knowing exactly how to make it work.
Yeah. I
mean, Reflect has a lot of choices involved.
What do you think, like, did you put in your deck that, like, won you the game?
Okay, so I played Blade of the Seven Lands, Excalibur X, which... So it's I don't know if you remember what that is, but... Because no one plays it unless they're tree.
Yeah, unless they're tree.
So... And most people forget that it makes your J ruler get +4/+4 and makes it cost 2 extra to target also.
Now you can search it.
And I can search it because it's a Regalia since I'm playing Valentina.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, that's pretty strong.
So did you do that often against control matchups?
I played mainly control, so yes I did. Because a lot of people playing Space-Time Anomaly or Matchsticks, and it counters both fairly effectively.
Right.
Because a lot of people played Heras, but not Maribels. So they had very little way to actually deal with a 3-cost Regalia. Mm-hmm. And I played against very, very few counters during the tournament. So, I mean, most people can't afford to pay 4 mana for a Space-Time Anomaly multiple times in the same turn.
Yeah. Well, they can do it, like, on their upkeep.
And then the second one...
And then do it again.
Which definitely matters, but with Blade of the Seven Lands, you have +4/+4, and so right there you're in 18/18 unless you really screwed it up somewhere along the line.
Yeah.
And
okay, we need to get down to brass tacks here. How was the experience of being in top 8?
I was really nervous, and so I played against Robert. I can't remember his last name.
The guy who got first.
He was first seed at the time. I think Valentina was actually a really good matchup against 4 Sacred Beasts, but things went poorly for me. So, first game, he main decked 3 barriers, which was bad for me. He got 2 of them, and so I promptly lost the game. As I said, if anyone ever got 2 barriers against me and I couldn't deal with them, I just lose. But game 2, he swapped into Blazer and boarded in his 2 Death Scythes, and I was on the play, and I kind of beat him up, and I never lost a game on the play.
Oh yeah, that's right.
during
You
the
never
entire
lost a
tournament.
play on the play in the entire
I
tournament.
lost 6 of my die rolls though, so it was kind of a miracle that I squeaked into 8th place with
That's
a
pretty
6-2
cool.
record.
Jeez, yeah.
That's amazing because like every time I lose a die roll, like it's hard. It's a battle uphill.
And oh yeah, just a reminder. This is the Cole that we talk about when we're like, oh yeah, Cole, the guy with the very innovative,
Yeah, the weird
combos and stuff.
Yeah.
Of course, Cole from our store.
Yeah.
Get stopping.
So, game 3, that was the really interesting game. That lasted, I think, about an hour. Our game 3.
There was no time limit, right?
We had 90 minutes
Yeah.
for the matches,
I see.
and if you went to time, I'm not really sure what happened, but I think you go to sudden death.
Yeah.
Kind of similar to
Similar to the last round. So he was still playing Blazer. He never got a Regalia that game, which was
Ooh.
actually surprisingly not bad for him.
Okay.
So he didn't want to play anything until like turn 6 on curve, more or less. He was more or less letting me do my thing because since he had Blazer, I was really threatened that if he ever resolved like Barrier into Death Scythe, I kind of just lost because I need to have 3 mana open to A, kill the Death Scythe with my Maribel, and B, tap my Leviton. So that meant I spent a lot of the game searching for Regalia and trying to get extra mana. And so that gave him a lot of time. So eventually on turn 6, he Huanglonged for all 4 Sacred Beasts because he did have enough Ruler's Memorias, and that was bad for me. So the next turn, I drew, and I searched for Regalia. Now, I drew a Blessed Holy Wolf. It's a yellow card. I thought it was a God's Bow. So I didn't search for a God's Bow, I searched for a Maribel for extra protection in case Death Scythes and things like that. So then when I flipped, I realized I didn't have target attack. So I couldn't target attack his Huanglong with my Flying J Ruler, and I had a Death Scythe in play, so if I'd been able to target attack it, I would have gained control of the Huanglong. And that would have really swung the game in my favor and probably won it for me right there.
Dang.
Now, that really tilted me, because I was just like, I've messed up completely. What do I do? So I just passed the turn, which was the correct play. He then resolved a second Huanglong
Dang.
after tapping for a stone, which wasn't a Ruler's Memoria, unfortunately, because if it had been, I would have survived the turn. But, I mean, he already had gotten 3 out of his deck, so... So then he attacked me with his Huanglong, and I did math wrong. Let's put it that way. So I could have blocked his Huanglong and tapped my Death Scythe and gained control of it. And doing so would have meant that I would have had another blocker for his Sacred Beasts. But if I'd done so, he still could have attacked and killed my J Ruler. Now, I had an extra mana, so I could have paid for a Maribel if he had a Death Scythe, so I wouldn't have lost my J Ruler unless he managed to play both Barrier and Death Scythe, which, knowing he only had 4 Barriers and 2 Death Scythe in his deck, seemed fairly unlikely. But, so I didn't block the Huanglong because I thought I could survive the turn. It turns out I could not survive the turn. I needed to block the Huanglong. Now, Robert could have just won the game off of that point, regardless of what I'd done, if he just flipped his Blazer. Because if he just flipped his Blazer, there's no way I could have kept my Ruler, and I would have had no blocker, and Huanglong plus the 4 Sacred Beasts is definitely enough to finish me off with no blockers. So, he definitely had the game in the bag, if he'd realized that.
Yeah.
But I did have an Excalibur X in play, so he was probably thinking, oh, this is going to cost me extra mana, that means I can't resolve my Huanglong, which means bad things. If I had blocked it, gaining control of it would have either he would have went for my face, leaving me a little bit of life, and then I could have Precious God's Arted to gain more life back, and then target attacked his Huanglong to have a second one of mine, and probably just closed out the game from there. Or he would have gone for my Ruler, in which case I would have gained control of 1 to 2 of his Sacred Beasts, in addition to killing one of them. And then I could have target attacked his Huanglong and gained control of it, and probably swung the game in my favor from that point.
I mean, that just goes to show like how gnarly this game is. It really comes down to misplays. Like,
it's a game. It's a game you lose, not you win.
Yeah.
Like at a certain point.
So yeah.
I mean, the other Valentina player, Alex, I saw him mess up his flip and not reveal his 7 kings a couple times, which.
And he's like a strong player.
He's a very, very good player.
It
was pretty funny, and
yeah.
I mean, I don't want to like insult him or anything, because I mean, it was a high pressure situation.
I mean, that's what happens.
And it happens. I mean, everyone screws it up. I mean, both me and Robert screwed up in our last round there, although mine cost me the game more so than his. But if I'd done it right, his would have cost him the game. So
Yeah. I wonder how it's like. Like, is it just players that don't mess up that get into top 8, or is that how
They
you
probably
get into
mess up
top
the
8?
least, or they probably have a strong deck, like a deck that can at least take them there, right?
Yeah.
And then they have to just not misplay, and they have to know their matchups.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is, I don't know if you like ran into this, but I ran into like a lot of people at the tournament that were like, oh, I haven't tested against this deck at all. Like, you know, there's...
I kind of was that guy.
You were that guy.
and in some degrees, I hadn't tested against Xion at all.
That's
so
okay,
that cost
that's
me a
right.
game. And I hadn't tested against Gil Lapis at all, and that cost me the other match I lost. So...
Yeah.
And
So
I hadn't tested against Huang Long either, so that was bad.
So I think information and just, you know, just knowing what all cards do, because we brought another one of our friend Giovanni.
Mm-hmm.
He had a decent Allosaurus deck. Like he didn't make top 24 or 64. Sorry,
You got
Um,
85th?
he was somewhere in the 80s. But his biggest issue was he finally kind of understood his deck, but he didn't understand how his opponent really could interact with him.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
he was kind of, I don't know how you guys practice, but it's not a very good way to practice by just kind of just
Playing.
practicing alone.
Yeah.
You know, you need to understand how other people are going to interact to your plays.
You need to practice against the best case scenario for
Yes.
other people's decks a lot. So I remember when I practiced a lot, I was really down on my deck's matchup against Eric Ellis because I only played games on the draw against it for a while.
But we kind of forced that, right? Just to see how you would do.
just to see how it would do. And it turns out if I played it correctly, it actually wasn't so bad.
Yeah, it wasn't so bad. Just
But-
like all your matchups, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. But I mean, someone, I forget who I was talking to at the tournament, but he just said, I never practice on the play. It's only worth it to practice on the draw because
You need to see
those
if
are the
you can
games
win.
you need to see if you can win.
Yes.
'Cause if you're on the play, it's your game to lose at that point.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so if you guys are ever practicing for these kinds of tournaments, you know, put yourself in a tough spot. Don't just be like, oh, the most magical thing is going to happen. Like, it's unbelievable to hear people like, oh, I didn't draw the right cards. It's like, but that's like with every card game. It's like you can't just predict what you're going to draw unless you're Reflect Refrain. Then you can
then you
predict
can do
all
whatever
day,
you want.
every day. But
Or
but
shit.
this meta was very diverse. Like I was very happy.
only
with this
50% reflect top 8, and I think one of them wasn't even Huang Long reflect. There was only 3 Huang Long.
That's right.
That was the most common.
But
top
the
8.
3 Wong Longs made top 4.
Yeah, they did.
First, second, and fourth.
Yeah.
And then Alex, the
Alex.
other Valentina player, got 3rd.
Which was impressive considering he just threw a game off of not revealing his
You got
rollers.
8th. And then there was a blue American Blazer, I think. Or
Yep.
maybe it was just blue
Yeah, it was
Blazer.
American Blazer. I
American
think.
Blazer made it. Alex. And then a
There were-
Xion, right?
I feel.
It was a Xion, right?
So let's see here. We have 2 Valentinas, the 3 Huang Longs.
It was a
Blazer.
black control. Sorry.
There was a black control reflect.
Reflect, yeah.
And then I think, yes, it was a Xion.
It was
but
a
I'm
Xion.
not totally sure because I didn't really.
I forget
talk
if
to
it
him.
was the Italy deck list or the
I
American.
believe it was a Xion. I
Yeah.
remember looking
No,
at
it was a
that.
Xion. I don't remember what deck list it was.
Yeah.
Though. If it was the Gwyber version or if it was the Angel version. Or it might have been a combo,
Yeah.
potentially. But yeah, I mean, I think that's all we have to say about the tournament. Really, it ran actually really smooth.
We got out by
like
9.
it ran very
9 p.m.
much better than the
9
ones I
p.m.
went with you.
9 p.m. with
Yeah.
8 rounds.
I think you're the problem now.
Yeah.
Like you're
I
probably.
should just hide.
I think you shouldn't just go. It should just be me and Cole, and Cole
You're
should
right.
just let me win and get into top 8. That's what should happen.
I'll test you. I'll just practice and test with you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Also, I need to brag a little bit here. Hey, guess who called the online game being completely free? This guy. Completely free. So the online game, when it's coming out, when the WGP happens, the Worlds
Yeah.
tournament happens, the Worlds players are going to be able to play test it. It's completely free. You don't have to grind for packs, but it's only going to be used for play testing. You're not going to have like There's not going to be like tournament matches. There's not going to be special features and like, story mode or anything. It's just going to be for playtesting, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Some people would argue that they're going to lose money off of this. And I would argue that's not the case because you really want to play with people in person as much as you can. And there's no competitive edge in the online game. You don't have that like, I earned a pack. I did place very well in a tournament. Like, it's only for playtesting.
Yep.
And I know some people will be completely happy with just playing online, which is perfectly fine. But I don't think they're going to lose any sale. I mean...
Any significant
Are
sales.
you guys on the same board with me, or do you guys have counterpoints?
I completely agree, because untap.in is already a place where you can play Force of Will online.
For free, and people do.
And people do that.
I don't like
play
it.
In person.
I think it's...
I never figured out how to use it.
Yeah,
I think it's a suitable
too
place
tough.
to like play test your decks. And me and Jay do it all the time.
Yeah.
And it's...
Some people like it. I can't
It's
get into
good,
it.
but there's nothing competitive about it. It's just a place to hone your skills, do better, come to like locals and like try your new deck, try your stuff. Like if you're at home, just alone, sitting in your couch, and you want to play some Force of Will.
Yep.
Like what?
I mean,
else
this
do
is
you
a
do?
good way to just get yourself into the game. Like you're like, like I'm interested in this game. There's a free version on it online. I could try playing this with my other beginner friend and see.
I don't have to buy cards
know.
for it.
Yeah, you don't have to buy cards.
So
for it.
free things.
That's kinda
People are
hard.
really good at getting into free things. So like, if you offer something for free, people are way more willing to try it.
Yeah.
Like, that was one of the reasons I played Force of Will.
Warcraft. Wait.
Yeah.
The Warcraft game. I forgot what it's called.
Hearthstone.
Hearthstone.
Yeah, that one.
Hearthstone.
So
That grabs people.
Yeah,
And then you have to pay.
League
But
of
the thing
Legends,
about that-
biggest game, free.
Yeah.
Sort
But
of.
the thing about that is it's Force of Will and card games, if they're both new to card games, it's kind of like a big world to jump in.
Yeah.
That's
Like if
true.
you don't have structured decks and you have to build your own decks, like how are they gonna do that with all this resource around them?
Yeah.
Like it would be better to
No, that's
go to
a valid
locals.
point.
That is true.
I'm just saying it's there for
Yeah.
people. Like if they're like, I want to try this game out without paying any money. Of course, they can just come to the stores and
And
play
walk
the
them, yeah.
the
Intro deck?
the intro decks.
Yeah.
Peter Pan and Captain Hook.
I
intro
mean,
decks.
I remember Jay building like 5 decks out of his mini collection back when we started,
Yeah,
just
Jay
so
just
people could
gave
play.
decks to everybody.
That's why I started playing. Was like, I don't have to build a deck for this. I'm gonna try it out. This looks fun.
And you even won like one of your first
Yeah.
tournaments at local.
Admittedly, my last opponent had to drop because he had to leave.
Oh,
So one, sure.
He was probably scared in his pants that he was playing you. But and then you had some info on the movie.
Yeah, so there's a new trailer out for the movie. It's just little sketches with character designs and like the directors on them, but it's really cool. It's a nice little short just to see like what it looks like. And the first one by the Tokyo Ghoul director actually looks like really quality,
That's nice.
like animation and stuff like that. So
Cool.
it's gonna be cool. The other ones are like completely different artworks, and they're getting
Interesting.
kind of abstract, but they're not all the same artwork, and they're just.
I always have a hard time when things aren't the same artwork, but the fact that they're different stories and not a continuing story, I think
Makes
will make it okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, it would be hard otherwise.
Yeah.
I'm interested. It's
Yeah.
If they fail one, they might win with another.
Yeah,
it's not
different
like-
directors, different animation teams. So
It'll hit more of a broad marketplace. I feel like.
Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
And then let's see here. And then we got some Vingolf spoilers we're gonna end with. We don't really want to go through all of them because a lot of them aren't really worth talking about. So we're just gonna pick the ones that we like. If you guys want us to go through all of them, I guess tell us. But
Yeah,
I don't
we
think
can
you guys are
always
that
do-
interested.
Can always
either.
do it another time.
I think it's been confirmed that the only reprints in this set are going to be the stones. We're not going to have reprints of like the spells that we did, like in the last Vingolf. So all the cards will be completely new and unique in some form and fashion.
Yeah.
Let's see. I love the white one drop that can
0-6.
yeah 0-6
Look at the top 3 stones. Put them back in any order. Right?
or of your main deck.
Okay.
You can choose which one.
Can always do that with my stones.
The stone is better though, at
Yeah.
least in the current meta with
Although when it comes out, there will be dual stones. So
Yeah,
I wonder if it'll be that important.
It might get worse with the dual stones, that white card. It's just good right now with Ruler's Memoria.
It's also really good with Shion's hydromonica, because without her Shion's ability, you can just know what
That's
color
right.
it is. It's
Like if
a
someone
mini Cheshire Cat.
barriers your hydromonica, then you can play that card and just hopefully one of the good cards is
In your top
in
three.
your top 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah, that's a good idea. I mean,
Yeah.
Shion was a prevalent force at the tournament
It
that
seemed
we were
to be
at.
like the biggest one. I think.
Well, other than Reflect, right?
Yeah.
What about Kaguya?
Kaguya,
I saw like
didn't-
3
I
Kaguya
didn't
decks.
see very
I
many.
played against one.
I think it's kind of confirmed that Kaguya is just way too hard
to
to
play.
play. Kaguya is a very hard.
I
deck
can't
to-
play Kaguya.
Yeah,
Like
it's too hard of a deck. It's really good. It's really strong.
you just have to do it.
It's just
correctly.
I think
really,
Jay
really
could
hard.
have gone
I
pretty
think-
well. with
I
that
think
Kaguya
Jay
deck.
would have done very well, unless he just did his little like weasel thing and just tied every damn match because he's like, oh, I don't think I could win this. Tie.
Hooray for no ties for me.
That's awesome,
That's
Cole.
pretty good.
You ended like almost every match in like under 30 minutes.
Yeah.
But back onto these dumb spoilers.
Yeah.
You have a card that you actually really
I
like.
really liked Riella's Lance, or I don't know how to pronounce her name, but I didn't play the Valkyria Chronicles, but I really like it because I've always liked Edition J rulers or J resonators, I guess, but always put them on the J rulers because it's more fun. But so Sylvia, you can play this with Sylvia once you have 4 stones. You can flip your Sylvia. If they don't have a way to sacrifice whatever you target, you can then untap your 3 stones, then put her Lance on your Sylvia and hit them for 20 damage, possibly more,
In the
depending on
air.
your regalia. In the air, which
Yeah.
seems like
Yeah.
a really good way to finish someone off in an
That's
aggro
pretty
deck.
good. Yeah. And then let's see here. One of the regalias, Ragnite.
Yeah.
I think it's Ragnite.
Yeah,
Not positive.
It taps for any color, like Schrodinger.
It taps for a color.
You can sacrifice it for
it for
any color,
color.
so you can get 2 mana on one
potentially
turn with it,
off of it. Yeah.
which is pretty
That's
cool.
pretty cool.
You
And
can
then
pay 2 white and tap it to recover your J ruler.
don't you have to sack it
believe.
too?
I don't remember.
Okay. I think you might have to sack it.
You might.
But recovering your J ruler
Is
in a
huge.
Sylvia strategy
Sylvia,
is like
Yeah.
Be strong with Valentina
That's-
also, since you can tutor it up out of your deck.
This would be strong in Huanglong too, because you're making
And
two
it would be
colors
good
of
in
anything.
It would be good in Long Long.
I'd play one in Valentina, but
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, you could search it with Valentina
Yeah.
too.
Vingolf is gonna be really weird because what if there's a card, one card that's really good,
and
It's
you have
gonna
to
be
buy
played.
Vingolf.
and there's only 2 of them in a box.
You're gonna have to buy.
So you're talking about like
Singles.
Guinevere and Lancelot and
It's
Crucible?
gonna be Guinevere's and Lancelot's, or like just freaking Mozart.
Guess who
Right,
purchased
well-
like 4 Guinevere's like the week before they spoiled it?
Yeah, I think that was. I don't think I bought him that, close to the mark, but that's something very. I think it wasn't actually. I bought Gwen's kind of early, but it was Lancelot's and Percival's that I took a long time to buy, and then I found out. Oh, they're coming.
spoiling them.
But-
Well, it still took like a really long time for it to come after that.
That's true. It was
was,
nice
like-
to have. It just was like
Yeah,
it was like, man, I
they
spent
were
a
very
lot of
fun.
money.
Like they're broken cards. But
They
There were
are.
2 sets between like
Yeah,
that whole thing.
yeah.
It's kind of gross.
And then there's a 2-mana burn spell that can burn face or
Or
Resonator. Not a J
600.
ruler, but for 600. So that's definitely gonna see play.
Do you think so? Because
It has to.
Thunder was a one drop that did 500.
Yeah, but the fact that it can hit either face or a Resonator is just so relevant.
See, I think of it as like, you know that burn spell, what was it, Purifying Fire?
Yeah.
No one ever used that for 1,000 damage to a human. Like, let's be honest.
It hit
There were
face
very
for
few humans.
700.
You hit face for 700 for 2 mana. And it was... Is this one a chant instant? This new one?
I hope
I
so.
believe so.
Okay, well
If
that
it
one
isn't,
was,
then it's
that
probably
one was
unplayable.
spell chant speed.
Yeah.
And people played it sometimes in aggro. Now, it wasn't, like, great, but it was an okay way to finish it. Now,
Yeah.
I feel like this one's a lot more playable.
This
than
one can
that.
hit like a Lancelot against the
Mirror.
mirror match.
If it could hit J rulers, it would definitely see play.
Yeah.
But
I'm
Double-
pretty sure it's seen play.
I'm gonna. I don't know how strong it will be, but I feel like it will be like played a couple of.
In
Just-
a world where like Blood Boil
in a world
and
where blood boils.
You've got Burn to Cinders, I guess.
And
Also.
Burn to
Cinders,
Cinders.
which is a one drop that could kill
Stirred in a
anything.
pot.
I don't know. I don't feel like it fits in this meta.
Yeah, I feel like I feel like we're gonna see a pure burn deck at some point, and it'll be pretty funny.
There's probably going to be a legacy, or sorry, what's it called? Wanderer format deck where
It's
that
just
will
pure
be
burn.
It'll just be
I mean,
Thunders.
it's Vlad.
Or,
It's Vlad.
oh, that's true. Yeah,
That
Vlad.
is.
Vlad would be the ruler for that. Yeah.
Vlad the motivated me to make a Bahamut Blast deck.
You could probably even play those stupid stones that add like 200 damage to things, but they come into play rested with that strategy. Potentially. Maybe I'm wrong.
Vlad doesn't do damage.
Yeah.
It's just lose 2, gain 2.
I don't remember, but you can't target your ruler with that stone.
Oh,
so,
right. That's what happens.
So.
I don't know. It was an idea. It didn't quite
Yeah.
work. We all have those.
Yeah.
Um,
I like that stone a lot.
Yeah.
I just
Especially
have
with
never
Kane.
played with it. Like, I like the idea of it.
Oh,
I
Kane,
just wish it was.
Kane will be fun with that. So, do we have any more on the spoilers?
We don't have any more on the spoilers.
Okay, you're not
Anything
interested in
promos?
anything. It was only Cole and I.
I mean,
Oh, the
there's
promos?
arrow.
The what?
The arrow and the
Oh,
new
yeah, we need to
Vingolf
talk about
set.
the
Oh,
arrow
yeah.
in the new set.
So there's like arrows between words, like when this
In
Or
This
in
happens,
words,
arrow,
arrow.
do this.
You mean
Do
in a
this.
sentence?
in the
Yes.
sentence, yeah.
In between
So
words.
it's I believe it's signifying automatic
Automatic.
ability.
Yes, it
abilities,
means
'cause
automatic.
That is
like
something
this
that's really
automatically
hard to
happens.
explain to someone if they haven't played like Magic before,
Yeah.
because it's fairly easy to explain Magic terms, I guess, if you've played it, because you just give examples like
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I
can't
think it's
think
just-
of one.
Usually when is a keyword for that,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah,
just
Yeah,
like,
there's always people online asking questions like, can this ability be countered by this, and the blah, 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 blah.
yeah.
And it's just, yeah, I mean, but at the same time, it's really cool that we're seeing people who've never played TCGs before play this game, you know?
Do we want to
I
talk
find
about
that
the weird? Do we want to talk about the weird fairy flower extract ruling? 'Cause that
No,
might be
we're going to
something
save that for next
interesting.
week, because we're running out of time.
All right.
So
Yeah.
we got to say goodbye tonight, guys.
Wait, before we go, we have
Oh.
spoilers. We have a promo for June. It's Croco Shark
looks
Oh,
awesome.
and
yeah.
Seal of Wind and Light
And they look
It will
awesome.
be located
over here.
one of
I think so.
right on over his face.
I want to own multiples of both
The
of
Croco
those.
Shark.
Dude, they look so nice.
Yeah, and
They do.
the Seal Wind and
Prime
Light.
promos, like
Yeah,
They're pretty sick.
for like
definitely
for
force
uncommon.
you.
Just
Like,
happy
what
that
is-
they're in common.
and
It's
especially
awesome.
Croco Shark, since we're gonna need a lot of them just to be printed because people are gonna want to own a lot of them. It's
Yeah.
really nice to have it as a promo.
Yeah, no, that's
they're
sick.
gonna be like $4 each, probably.
That's
Yeah, but
I
I mean,
would,
just
I
because
I would argue probably more than
just
that.
because they're a promo though, you are gonna get them though, which is
Yeah.
important.
There's gonna be a lot.
You never
Probably.
know.
Booty 0.
Oh, yeah,
is
apparently
being
it
sold
made
for
it.
50
Wow.
on the Facebook group. It's
But
just
apparently
crazy.
even
they're
look-
actually like
doesn't
a
even look
thing.
as
though.
nice.
They are a thing in Italy, so it's.
I
pretty
thought
cool.
they were a thing here.
I don't think so.
It
It's
sounded
censored
like
in
there
the
was
US.
like some sort of problem and they sent like half of each.
That's
Really? That's pretty
hilarious.
cool.
I don't know. I could totally be wrong, but I've
How-
seen a lot of them online. It's like, how are there this many? I've seen more booties online than I have seen of the non-booties.
Yeah, I
online.
haven't seen any of the non-booties being.
I haven't seen either
sold.
at all, basically. Like
Yeah.
I saw them both, but that was it.
I recommend Force of Will Marketplace NA as a Facebook group. They sell a lot of stuff on
Yeah.
there. It's just people being traded. You can get good
Yep.
deals on there. People are selling their collections.
Yeah, a lot of
sometimes.
people are selling their entire collection.
So you can get a good deal on cards
Yep.
if you're a new player.
We
eBay's
kind of
also
hunt
good.
a place for Valhalla cards, but we haven't been
Yeah.
very successful.
I mean,
Yeah.
I've met some people
You met
from
people.
like Italy, store
I
people,
know people.
and they've
Yeah.
sold stuff to me, and it's pretty good. It's
I
a
met
place.
like at least one person at the AGP.
It's
At
good.
least one.
You were. Everyone was all over you once
Well, once
they
I
found
hit
out
top
you top
eight.
eight. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Well,
Good.
please give a shout out to Cole. Saying you're awesome, or at least
Nice.
say hi to him when you walk by him. You're gonna walk by this guy someday.
In the top
'cause
8,
he's
I was
crazy.
registered as Robert O'Brien because that's my legal first name.
You just gotta repeat that over and over again, don't you?
Yeah, I do. I
Change your name to Cole.
Yeah, just change it legally. Just Cole. Not like just like
No
share.
last name?
Yeah, just like share. You'll just be Cole.
Cool. Perfect.
What everyone calls you at the store.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's it for tonight, guys. As always, I am Patrick.
And I'm Don Bowie.
And I'm Cole. Or Robert.
And we're Stone and Void. Without Jay.
He's in Europe.
Good night, people.